So let's do the chanting. Hope you're well. Hope you're mindful, aware, conscientious. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Dudayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dudayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dudayambi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tadayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tadayambi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Tadayambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas. May I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas. May I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas. May I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata gati gati para samgati bodhi soha. Tayata gati gati para samgati bodhi soha. Tayata gati para samgati bodhi soha. So, time for a little bit of meditation now. It's good morning to you, good afternoon, and good evening, and not yet good night. And it's hello from me and hello from him. I don't know if you remember that Morecambe and Wise. They did it, of course, the goodbye, the good night, or whatever it was. The comedy duo from Britain. Anyway, you could say giving away my age because they haven't been on television for a very long time. So let's do some meditation. Get yourself nice and steady, nice and calm, stable position, but relaxed. And bring your mind inside your body. And let's release the tension from the bottom of the body up to the top. So bring your mind to the tips of your toes and release whatever tension you may have there. And as I mention different parts of the body, then release whatever tension you may have. So the balls of the feet and the arches and the heels. And on the top of the feet. Around your ankles and Achilles tendons. Your lower leg, calf muscles and shins. And all around your knees. And your upper legs, quad muscles and the hamstrings. And up to your midsection, all around your hips, glutes, groin. And keep working your way up your body to the upper torso now, the lower part of it, the lower stomach, just above your hips, and your lower back. Further up your stomach and your sides, into the center of your back. And all around your chest, under your arms, and your upper back. Lateral muscles, rhomboid muscles, the upper trap muscles that run between the neck and the shoulders. And release from your shoulders. As you put down your physical baggage, you could say you are putting down your mental baggage too. Release from your upper arms, biceps and triceps, and elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers and thumbs. And now bring your focus to your neck and release from the front of your neck, the sides, and the back, and the back of your head, and sides of your head, around your ears and temples. Now release whatever tension you may have on your face. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw or frowning. Release from around your cheeks, chin and mouth, nose, and sinuses, eye sockets and eyes, forehead, and finally the crown of your head. And now briefly scan your bottom, again from the bottom to the top, to see if there's any leftover tension that you may be able to release. And if there is, do so. And now bring your focus initially to the tip of your nose and follow the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs and then back out your nose again. Breathing in and breathing out. That's all we have to do apart from being here physically. That's all we have to do physically is breathe right now. And mentally, keep your mind focused on your breath, the feeling of your breath. And then, of course, if you get distracted, replace your mind back onto your breath. That's all you have to do mentally. Quite uncomplicated, quite simple. You can also add the extra technique of counting the breaths from 1 to 10. So one in breath and one out breath is 1 and so on. But if you get distracted on the way towards 10, go back to 1 at that time. If thoughts arise or any mental activity arises, don't cling to it. Don't grasp at it. Try to force it away either or deny it. But let it go naturally and simply by replacing your mind back onto your breath. And if your mind starts to become dull or sleepy, wake it up a little bit by refocusing on your breath more brightly. So let's practice like this in silence for a little bit. So now we can feel pleased for engaging in the practice and fill our whole being with universal loving kindness. In a way, you could say we're extending this loving kindness to ourselves, wishing that we are happy, free from suffering, and are peaceful. Utilizing the visualization technique of filling our whole being with the white light. Filling ourselves with friendship, goodwill, harmlessness, forgiveness, appreciation and respect and gratitude. Feel yourself with so much universal loving kindness that it now overflows and radiates outwards. Initially to your loved ones, family and friends. Filling them with the white light too. Filling them with happiness, freedom from suffering and peace. Really perceive them as light, happy, free, peaceful. Now let's also include those we regard as strangers. Fill them with the universal loving kindness as well. And do likewise. And now also include those we may regard as enemies. And once again, do likewise. This wide light leaving your heart center, extending the loving kindness, entering in the heart centers of all of these people. And now let's go beyond just human beings and include all sentient beings, initially around your immediate area. All the sentient beings that live on the land and in the waters and fly through the air, whether they're born from wombs, eggs, moisture, or through transformation. May they all be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. Remember that all sentient beings have at one time, sometime in the past, been our mother, been our father, our brother or sister, or our friend or stranger, enemies. We have been in each other's lives before. If that wasn't the case, we couldn't communicate right now. You can think about that in your own time. Now extend your loving kindness out throughout your whole state or county to all the sentient beings, whether we know about them or not. Throughout all of the states and counties in your country. And other countries, those you're familiar with and may have an affinity towards, those you're indifferent towards, as well as those that for whatever reason you may have some negative feelings towards. Until your loving kindness pervades throughout all of the countries on the planet, as well as throughout all of the oceans and other waterways, down to the core of the earth and to the outermost atmosphere. And now have your loving kindness pervade throughout the whole solar system. And all of the solar systems throughout the galaxy. and all of the galaxies throughout the universe, until your loving kindness pervades throughout infinite space. Also be present here and now to recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious body, Chitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of Shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Water. So, as most of you know already, very cold today. I think I read before it was something like, because of the wind chill, 5 or 6 degrees, it felt like. So, and I went out the back earlier. Yes, it felt like that. I didn't stay out there very long though. I haven't even been for a walk yet today. Probably will have a short one, just as the sun goes down, just after class, maybe 20 minutes or something. But it's been raining most of the day, so off and on. So, Vesak time was last Monday, and it continues the celebrations in different parts of the world. The Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and passing away being commemorated. In Australia, I think they had it in Canberra on Wednesday at Parliament House, which was fine. I was invited to go along, but I didn't go. Instead, I presented them with chanting in English, about 5 minutes long, which I think you may have seen if you've looked on my Facebook page, because I posted it there too. Yeah, it's a nice time once again, like last week, Mother's Day, to reflect. Nice time to think, can I improve myself more? Shall I, or can I get better at decreasing, eventually eradicating my faults? Is it possible for me to do that? Of course it is. We just have to make the effort, know the techniques taught by the Buddha, and implement them, put them into practice. And then, of course, the good qualities which you have in abundance. We can look at our mind and say, can I improve, increase these good qualities? And you come to realize, yes, of course you can. And you should. Don't be lazy, but also don't be hard on yourself either. Middle path, Noble Eightfold Path. That's what we need to practice, as well as the developing the great compassion to realize the supreme wisdom, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I think it was 21 of these teachings out of 47 from Master Atisha. So commentary on Master Atisha's Heart Advice is what I've titled it. Of course, this is translated from a different language, so we can call it what we want. We can call it Advice from Master Atisha. We can call it Buddhist Dharma Teachings by Master Atisha. But of course, they're put into short form. That's why we need commentary on it. Many of his other teachings were probably, maybe the most popular ones were written in short form, the most well-known ones. But there's many that would have been longer as well, which we wouldn't need as much commentary because the commentary is given within. But here we are with commentary. So last week we picked up on, or we finished off, I should say, on have no hatred for enemies and no attachment for friends. This followed the teachings such as, since happiness and pleasure and friends you gather in this life last only for a moment, put them all behind you. Also, since future lives last for a very long time, gather up riches to provide for the future. And you will have to depart, leaving everything behind. So do not be attached to anything. Generate compassion for lowly beings, especially avoid despising or humiliating them. And like I said, have no hatred for your enemies and no attachment for your friends. If you want the detailed commentary on these, then have a look at last week's class on YouTube channel or scroll down on Facebook if you like. I thought we'd sort of pick up the last one a little bit. We still have problems with, it may not be fully blown hatred. It may be just a small dislike, but we still have that. We still have aversion, like even if it's just subtle at the moment, even if we've practiced really well, that it's very subtle. But sometimes maybe we act out on it, becomes bigger, big aversion, big dislike. Hopefully not fully blown hatred. I think we should have all practiced beyond that already. And if we haven't, then check yourself, purify your mind, decrease this fault, decrease this poison. Even though they're enemies, they do cause us a lot of trouble. Maybe they behave really, really badly. Maybe they've harmed us. But if we bring ourselves into the moment and let go of the past, you could say forgive them, forgive ourselves for being in the situation, then we can live in this present moment. I know it's difficult to do because we tend to bring the past into this moment, especially the strong emotions, negative emotions, as well as attachment that I'll speak about in a moment. But if we can, in this present moment, just let that go. You can still remember it. Just don't be affected emotionally by it. Look at it. Look at your own mind. And like I say many times before, use your buffer zone. Put a gap between your experience, your feelings, and mental reactions to these. The gap there. Make sure you don't create the negative karma or reinforce this negative emotion, negative habit. Okay. And we can learn from the enemies, first of all, what not to do. Learn also not to be in the company of these types. Again, unless we are doing it to help them with compassion. Also, we can learn that we ourselves had some of these qualities. Otherwise, or maybe we've had them in the past. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to recognize them, would we? It'd be foreign to us. We recognize the negative emotions, negative behavior, and things like that of other living beings because we have either had them or still have them. Hard to understand. Not many people think like that, but that's the truth. So look at our own minds, okay? Give up this hatred. Give up any aversion. This relates to the other teachings, by the way. That's why I wanted to pick it up. And no attachment for friends. No attachment doesn't mean you don't enjoy each other's company. That you have the loved ones, your friends, the people you feel comfortable around. It doesn't mean that you lose these people in your life. It means not attached, not with greed, not thinking that you possess them. These are mine. These are my friends. Even these are my enemies. No, you don't own them. Even we can say, this is my mind. Actually, what mind? Which one? Present one? Or the one that just went? Or the one that has not yet arisen? Which mind is yours? Okay? And so, the teachings we look at today, and for sure we'll finish them, even though we've only got about 10 minutes to go, but I've already covered a fair bit in that one, okay? Do not be jealous of others' good qualities, but out of admiration, adopt them yourself. Do not look for faults in others, but look for faults in yourself and purge them like bad blood. Do not contemplate your own good qualities, but contemplate the good qualities of others, and respect everyone as a servant would. See all living beings as your father or mother, and love them as if you were their child. So, do not be jealous of others' good qualities. This is something we could do this, It's a possibility. So let's say we see other Dharma practitioners. Maybe they are giving good answers in Dharma classes or something like that. It's easy to be jealous because you think, oh, I wish I did that. I get the attention of the teacher, you know. But that comes from an ego standpoint. Every time jealousy arises, it relates to pride and arrogance, to this sort of clinging to a self. But rather recognize it, recognize these good qualities and think, like my quote that I came up with many years ago, if you see good in others, let it be you. If you see bad in others, don't let it be you. It's a kind of play on words a little bit, but it makes sense, doesn't it? It's an embellishment of something that His Holiness the Dalai Lama said to me one of the times that I met him, that had some one-on-one, very short instructions, but brilliant and very precious. Similar, except he used a lot more words than that. Okay. So if you see good in others, let it be you. In other words, you adopt this goodness. If you see bad in others, don't let it be you. Don't pick up the bad sort of habits and behaviors of other beings. Don't soak them up yourself. Recognize them as such and protect your mind from having a mind like this. Okay. But out of admiration, adopt them yourself. So very similar to my quote, and I think I've covered that already now. All right, so I'll repeat, so I don't have to repeat again. Do not be jealous of others' good qualities, but out of admiration, adopt them yourself. Do not look for faults in others, but look for faults in yourself and purge them like bad blood. I alluded to that before. Yeah, we can perceive the faults in others through their behavior, but we really can't see their mind. We can only look in our own mind. With the mind, we can perceive the mind. We can check the mind. It's the only phenomena that can do that. So if you see something that's untoward on the outside, look inside your own mind and think, do I have that? If I have that, do I have this aversion? Or do I have this attachment? Do I have these jealousies and the like? If you do, recognize it, diminish it at that time by paying pure awareness to it. Like I've said many times again, our emotions are very shy once you pay pure awareness to them. Awareness that is free from attachment, free from aversion, free from wanting and not wanting, free from liking and dislike. So you can do that. Look at your own faults. It's fantastic to see your faults. Don't let it bring you down. Think, am I being greedy? Am I being selfish? Yeah, now I get the opportunity to decrease that, working my way to eradicating it. So that's that one. Do not contemplate do not contemplate your own good qualities, but contemplate the good qualities of others and respect everyone as a servant would. Doesn't mean you have to be a doormat, but think about, from a point of view that you have, let's say, a teacher or somebody that you respect, you look up to, and you can see everybody like that. Have such great respect for them, appreciation for all living beings, because they give you the opportunity to develop great compassion. Without all living beings or other living beings, we don't have the opportunity to develop this bodhicitta, this altruistic, compassionate intention. They give us this opportunity. And so, as I go again, so even if we recognize the good qualities in our own mind, don't dwell on them. Recognize them and say, yeah, it's good. Very happy. We'll increase this. And contemplate the good qualities of other beings. This will take your mind off self-centeredness. Because these beings, even the horrible, horrible beings, they still have some good qualities. And I'll use an example I've used before, very extreme example, but I read somewhere a long, long time ago that Hitler, for instance, loved his dog. And maybe his girlfriend, but terrible behavior, obviously, terrible mind, evil mind, many beings like this around in the world today still, but also many beings with wonderful good qualities. And even these bad behavior beings, bad mind beings, you could say, speaking bad English today, then maybe they still have the good qualities. You can contemplate that, okay? Takes your mind off yourself, takes your mind off puffing yourself up. And so that you can increase these good qualities yourself and recognize faults, decrease them. Remember what I say, build a fence before you fall off the cliff. If we lived at the edge of a cliff, we'd build a fence so that we wouldn't roll off in our sleep. And so practicing the Dharma is like this, especially the four great efforts, protecting your mind, making sure it doesn't become wholesome, or if it has already become unwholesome, eradicate that. If your mind is wholesome, keep it protected. If it's not wholesome already, adopt the wholesomeness, okay? Four great efforts. See all living beings as your father or mother and love them as if you were their child. Remember that the human baby is helpless without the parents, without the guardians, without the relatives. And so we are dependent right from our birth on our parents, on others. Remember that all living beings have been our parent at some stage in the past. So we are dependent upon all living beings. If you can think about the infinite past and into the so-called infinite future, even though there's only this moment. All beings have been our parent. They've been kind to us. While we are still healthy, even though, some of us are getting a lot older, obviously, or everybody's getting older, but some of us are getting older, maybe we can't do too much physically, but we can do something to benefit beings. We can give good attitude too. So really have respect for that. All living beings been our parent in the past. Great to mention that at Vesak time and Mother's Day last week time. I rejoice in your meritorious goodness. I contemplate your good qualities, not mine. I don't look at your faults. I look at mine. Let's practice the Dharma to the best of our ability and share our goodness with all living beings, whether that be directly or indirectly. Okay? I'll see you next week. Namo Buddhaya. Namo